Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I guess it's only fitting that I'm on my way to Alaska for my second Alaskan cruise back-to-back here. We have in the news, Alaska is saying that they're trying to introduce a bill that will permanently bypass the Passenger Vessel Act and bypass Canadian decisions altogether. And I guess as a Canadian, I should talk about it. First of all, yes, there's a Passenger Vessel Service Act, and Canada, way back in January of this year, decided that they were going to cancel cruise ships, not for a couple months, not for a 3-month period like everybody else in the world was doing. They said 13 months. We're canceling cruises for a year and a month, starting right now. And when asked why, they basically said, well, you know, something. We don't have a logical excuse for doing it, but we're going to do it. If you ever notice about our governments in Canada, they tend to like to talk a big game, but they don't really do anything. Like, they talk about change. They talk about making things best. Build back better. Build back better. When? 12 years from now. Yeah, we're going to introduce that after we get elected the next time. You know, that kind of thing. Like all politicians across the world, right? It's not about what we can do for you now. It's about what we can promise to do for you, and eventually we'll promise to do it again. So yeah, Canada was completely idiotic. Our government in Canada was completely idiotic in not setting... There is no reason with the safety protocols that are going on right now on these cruise ships that they could not have been sailing out of Canada right now. There is no reason in the world other than the ignorance and the stupidity of a government decision. Plain and simple. I'll say that pretty plain and simple. Now, they could be paying the consequences for this now. And of course, the governments are just, in Canada, are just, it's not gonna pass, don't worry about it. But that's exactly what they said would happen with the exemption. It's not gonna pass, it's very unlikely, etc., 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 and it passed. And now they're saying, oh, don't worry about it. You know what? Even if they pass this, they're going to want to come to Canada because Canada is so beautiful. And you can get high on yourself all you want, and you can make all the excuses you want. You're putting your industry in danger. You're absolutely putting yourself in danger. So, yeah. I really do not like the way the governments are handling the cruise industry in Canada. I haven't liked the way they've been doing it in the United States neither. So we'll just go with that, right across the board. What will this come? This is the Passenger Vessel Safety Act, Service Act. Basically says the exemption they're trying to do is that any cruise ship going to Alaska with over 1,000 passengers is immediately exempted from this. And if there is ever an industry in the United States that builds a cruise ship in the United States that will hold 1,000 passengers or more, this amendment automatically ceases to exist. Because that's the reason for this act. They don't want any American businesses being, you know, basically shut down because you can do it cheaper someplace else. And that's why all the cruise ships are basically, you know, flagged in other ports. It's not just that. It's also, if you want to bypass this act and sail within the United States, you have to have the majority of your crew have to be from the United States and paid by the United States. The majority of the ship has to be built here as well. Lots of things go into details, and that would throw the cost of a cruise through the roof. Let's be honest, it would throw the cost of cruising through the roof and would basically bankrupt the industry right now. No one's going to pay 3 times the amount to go on a cruise right now. So that's one of the reasons. Will this pass? Well, before I let you know what my thoughts on that are, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Really does help the channel. It just notifies you of all the videos when I put them up, and it says, hey, look, there's another video. You can click on it if you want. You can ignore it if you want, but it really does help the channel. YouTube sees it, says, hey, people are subscribed. Let's share it to more people. And I would really, really appreciate it. So, I do not hope this passes, to be in all honesty, but that's kind of selfish. I love sailing out of the Canadian ports. I love being able to sail out of Vancouver when I go to Alaska. I like having that northbound, southbound cruise that just seems a little out of reach when you sail from Seattle. So there would still be some cruises. There's still sail some cruises out of Vancouver. They'll still do the odd stop in Victoria Island, but that's a lot of jobs that could be potentially gone, and quite frankly, some beautiful, beautiful ports that people might miss. And they have been designed, like the boardwalk in Vancouver, when you're spending a day or two before your cruise, is absolutely a great place to spend some time. It's full of life. There's lots of things to do. The boardwalk goes on forever. You can walk all the way to Stanley Park from the pier. It is beautiful there, and the skyline is wonderful. And so I would really hate to see people miss out on that because governments have been stupid. I really would. And I also don't know if they pass this, it's a very particular pass, because they're aiming to only have cruise ships going to Alaska amended under this provision. And that might put some places saying, hey, wait a minute, we might get more business here along the Great Lakes if we were allowed to have foreign-based cruise ships flagged and cheaper people, cheaper staff on board. That's not fair that Alaska gets that, but we can't do that here for our river cruise industry. What about Hawaii? Hawaii can go, hey, we have the only U.S. flag ship in the fleet as far as an ocean liner cruise ship is concerned, the Pride of America, and it sails all around here in Hawaii. Well, why can't we get more ships doing that here and more business for our industry? If we bypass that Passenger Vessel Act here too, we can get some of those foreign flag ships in and do more Hawaiian cruises. That would be good for our business, right? That would be good for our tourism. So there is a lot of hoops to jump, and I don't know if they're going to be able to get this passed. This is not a temporary exemption. A temporary exemption can get passed much faster than a permanent one. There's a lot of hoops, there's a lot of ladders to jump, but who knows? There may just be enough push right now with the job losses that have gone on over the last year and a half to push this through. And that could mean very disastrous results for Canada. And I will be the first one out there to blame the government for doing this, because their lackluster approach in Canada to businesses and that during COVID has been spectacular. Spectacular. They did not seem to care what happened to businesses, but they certainly didn't mind raising taxes, handing out billions and billions of dollars, and preaching that we got your back while your jobs are disappearing. And now you may have just killed the cruise industry in Canada. Yeah, you got our backs all right. Oh well, that's what I think. I hope it doesn't go through. I hope Canadian ports open next month like they're supposed to at the end of October, and we never even have to have this discussion ever again. Because in all honesty, it would be a shame not to be able to do cruises out of Canada to Alaska, because they are some of the best itineraries you can get offered. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel blogs from around the world, including Alaska? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, Have yourself a safe and a great vacation.